working somewhere in here. Our job is to figure that out because they don't tell us that part. Okay. So here's what I want to do. Because remember, I said we're going to take a slice. We're going to take hue. We're going to take that first category, hue, and we're going to break it down into all of its parts so that we are really equipped with understanding hue. And then we're going to learn how to move hue on purpose. Okay, so we're working with color in its purest form. Think fashion color. Once you get that, learn this first. Learn how to work color in its purest form. Then add level. Then add saturation. Remember, we talked about like taking a slice of the pie today. We're not going to take the whole thing. Because if you can get hue, learn how to move it with purity, the rest is easy. Okay, is that good with everybody? So let's take our color wheel and let's, we're going to divide it into all of its parts. Perfect. All right, this, you guys, is easy because this is what we're most familiar with. So what's the first color that we learn about? When we look at the color wheel, we're going to divide it into its categories. What's the first category we generally learn about in like kindergarten, elementary? Primary colors, yes, primary colors. So here we have, I'm going to turn this a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but I have a certain way I like to look at the color wheel. I'm kind of weird like that. Okay, so we have yellow as a primary, we have red as a primary, and we have blue. All right, here's how I'm going to describe the primaries. A lot of times we hear primaries are colors that cannot be made from other colors. Well, if you study color enough, you know that you can actually create red from magenta and yellow. So we're not going to say that. We're going to say primaries are the colors that we begin with, the colors we start with. And they're right now, they're one part. Yellow, Y, R, red, R, blue, B, one part. Okay, so what's the next category we learn about after primaries? So primaries then comes what? Secondary, yeah. The secondaries, do you guys remember, how do we make a secondary? We mix two what together? Tell me in the chat box. What do we mix together to get a secondary color? Primaries, beautiful Mercedes. Yes, two primaries. Here's how that works. I'm going to mix my red and my yellow, and I'm going to get orange. Yes, Brittany, oranges are Y. So RY. Secondary colors, we're going to call them two-part colors, R and Y. Now, between my yellow and my blue, what's my secondary color? What do you got for me? Green. Yes. Green is a B and a Y. It's another two-parter. Now, can you make green with a different ratio of B and Y? Yes, you can. But remember, today we're in basics. So let's just call it two-part colors and be good with that. Okay. So now I have another secondary where I mix my B and R, and what does that give me? What does that give me if I mix B and R? Violet, yes. Not purple, you guys. Violet. Violet and purple are different colors. So B and R. We feel good about that, yeah? All right, let's move on. What's the next one that we learn about? This is probably the one we're not as familiar with. Tertiary, yes. And what do I mix together to get a tertiary color? What do I mix? Secondary plus a secondary and a primary, exactly. So here's what I'm going to have. I'm going to have 3 tertiaries on the warm side, and I'm going to have 3 tertiaries on the cold side. So here's what I'm going to do. Right up here, I'm going to mix YYR. That's going to give me gold. Everybody write this down. Gold, YYR. Is there red and gold? Yes or no? YYR. Is there red and gold? Yes, there is. You got it. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to mix the next two and I'm going to get an RRY. That's copper. Copper is not RY. That's orange. Copper is heavier on red. So copper is RRY. Write that down. You're going to want that for later. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to have a BRR. Is everybody seeing where we're getting this from? Does everybody feel good about it? All right, so then we're going to move on. Here we have a BBR. So that's blue violet, blue violet. Oh, let me tell you this. BRR is a red violet. Oops, I wrote that wrong. Hold on. Let me change this for you guys. We'll do it this way. RRB. Why did I do that? Because primary is always supposed to come first. So RRB is red violet. Has anyone heard of the word mahogany before in your color? Yes, mahoganies are red violets. They're a browner version of a red violet. This one we said was a blue violet. And then the next one here is a blue green. Yeah. And then I'm going to just say this for time's sake, but this one is a YYB. YYB is yellow green. Okay. So can everybody see that okay? So now we've labeled everybody. Tertiaries are 3-part color, secondaries 2 parts, primaries 1. Now here's what we also understand about the wheel. The wheel is divided in half. It has a warm side and a wet side. A warm and a wet. Type it in the chat box. Warm and cool. Our colors have temperatures. And then we have something that's in the middle. So we talked about something that's in the middle. Something that's in the middle can't be warm and it can't be cold, right? So if it doesn't have a temperature and it doesn't have a warm color or a cold color, what's in the middle of the color wheel? Neutral, achromatic, yes. For you and I right now, I'm going to put gray, or no, neutral, but neutral is either gray, black at the lower levels, lighter gray at the higher levels, and white all the way at the top. So I'm going to put N, but you all know N means neutral, no tone, no color, not warm, not cold. Good? Okay, so another piece of this cat, we're going to break the categories down one more piece, actually 2 more pieces. There is something called analogous colors or harmonic colors. Those are colors that sit next to each other on the wheel in pairs of 3s and 4s. So here's a great set of analogous colors: gold, orange, and copper. Analogous colors support one another. If I'm at orange right here, and I want to soften the orange, I don't want it as intense, I'm going to add the color above it. Gold will soften orange. If I'm at orange, but it's not as intense as I want it more intense in copper, then the color below it will intensify. So the color above softens, the color below intensifies. So those are analogous. We're not going to fight it. We're going with it. They support one another. And then we have another color we haven't talked about. Does anyone know what have we not talked about yet? Some people mistake this as the center of the color wheel. Does that help you? What color have we not talked about yet? Type it in the chat box. Brown. Yes, brown. Has anybody ever thought brown was at the center of the color wheel? Yes. All right, so let's kind of help you understand why brown is not at the center of the color wheel. All right, I'm going to tell you what the formula, the universal formula for brown is. Brown is